I'm going to season my pork chops to get them ready to be smothered. So I'm going to start here with this black pepper. Like I said previously, these are kind of thick, more on the thick side. They just have a slim cut. So after the black pepper, I'm going to go ahead and then place some onion powder on top. I'm going to do the onion powder. Garlic powder. I want to do seasoning salt. And then you're going to see me pour in some thyme leaves. With some paprika for the coloring. And I'm gonna flip it, do the same thing to the other side, and then moisturize that in. So this is what my pork chops gonna set out to look like. Just semi-cook those, don't want to burn them or anything like that or overcook them. And we're going to continue on to make the gravy. I already cut up my onions. Preferably you would want to use red onions, but it's okay to use what you have in the kitchen, baby. And so once this other side finishes cooking, I will then remove the pork chops and enter in the onions. I actually turned my grease down a bit, but now you see me adding in those onions I was talking about previously. I'm gonna add in those onions, saute them, get them greasy in that grease, and then you don't want too much grease, so I have just the right amount in here, and I'm just gonna dump all those onions in there. And then you're gonna also see me put a couple of mixed garlic pieces in there as well. You're gonna see me put in that mixed garlic now, not too much. And then we're gonna let that simmer. I also like to add a little bit of the juice, if I do say so myself, from the actual garlic itself, you know, just for the extra flavor. And you want to mix those flakes around in your skillet until they get a nice little golden brown on them. And it's definitely okay if you still got pork chop pieces at the bottom. So mix that in really good. Make sure all of it is sauteed. And you'll know after it stops simmering, when you stop hearing it sizzling, you'll know then that your onions is simmering in that grease at the bottom. And that's when we will proceed. So they only take about a minute or two. I like to get mine a nice golden brown texture. And once again, I did turn the eye down. What you're going to see now is me adding some flour here. You don't want to add too much flour, but you do want to add enough. And the flour is going to be how we are creating that gravy sauce. So I'm just going to add a little more. And just a little teensy a bit more. Yep, that'll do it. They're just going to do it for me. Then we're going to mix it in really well. Want to get that in there a little bit with the onions. Get that mixed in with the onions a little bit. Don't want it to burn, so right at this point I'm gonna add my broth to the mix. And then I'm just gonna mix that in good and making sure that there's no lumps of any sort. So you don't want the flour to have any lumps in it. Because that's where the thickness is coming in from this substance right here. So I'm gonna continue mixing it until everything is in a saucy consistency. You should wind up with something like this. Make sure you taste it to make sure that it's to your perfection or to your liking. But yo, it tastes so good, it looks so good. My gravy came out fire. And y'all, I know how to cook and all, I just don't be in the kitchen cooking. Like, this is my first time actually making the gravy for the pork chops, the smothered, making them smothered. But baby, that's fire. Can't nobody tell me look, this is definitely fire. Make sure you cooking your sauce on a low heat. Mine is on low, about 1.5. And I also went ahead and seasoned this, so I just put in some seasoning salt, some pepper, garlic. I didn't put onion powder because it's plenty of onions in there already. I also added in just a little bit of thyme, not a lot, a little bit of black pepper, not a lot. I like spice, so I added some spice to it, and a little bit of parsley as well as rosemary. The rosemary, y'all, that is the trick to the taste. What you're gonna see me do now is add in my pork chops to my gravy. Because now we want to get those pork chops smothered. Because that's the whole point of making this meal. And this is where your pork chops will finish cooking. It smells so good in my kitchen. You want to make your man happy? Fix him some smothered pork chops. I'm just mixing it in with the gravy, y'all. I want to do it, for me, I want to do it slowly. Do it how you, to your liking, but I'm doing it slowly mixing it in because I want every inch to count as far as being on the pork chop. So you want to get those gravies and those seasonings and onions and those garlic pieces over the pork chop. So this is how you make some fire smothered pork chops. Get them in there really nice and good, coated in that gravy. And you probably would let this cook for about 2 to 10 more minutes. I would do 10, me personally, because I like for everything to be seasoned in there perfectly. So you're gonna see me turn my heat back up at this point. I'm gonna turn it up to 2, maybe 2.5, 3. Personally, because I have a really great electrical stove, and so it cooks fast, and that is my reasoning for turning it down to low. But we're gonna let that cook in there for a bit, and this is what you should come up with. This is gonna be your smothered pork chops. Y'all, this is the finished product. This is baked plate. Of course, like I said, I fixed them 2 bakes and 1 smothered. I fixed myself 2 smothers, but I'm only gonna put 1 on my plate for now. This is the masterpiece at the end.